How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land? This is another part of the 78 Ford series here. And as you can see, our truck survived. You know, nobody got hurt or anything like that, but ended up, you know, it's a very minimal fire, but it did damage a few things, but nothing too major. But I wasn't able to back it up where it was sitting, and come to find out, all it was the timing was off because it kept cutting off. So that's all that was. So I adjusted the time a little bit, and it's perfectly fine. But I thought the fire, because it did that even before the fire, it wouldn't back up, which all it was just the time. So I just moved the distributor around a little bit, and as you can see, we got her moved. But our truck did make it, and could have been a lot worse. But actually got so hot that it started melting the interior of firewall down there a little bit. You can see, but discolored the paint a little bit, but it didn't really do nothing too serious. But a little bit of soot on the doors there, but that'll all wipe off. You can see it wipes right off. But ain't no big deal, all that'll come off. But it did get a few things under the hood here, because it probably was on fire for about at least, I don't know, 5 minutes probably. But anyway, I ended up getting it all back together. It burned up just about all my plug wires, so I still got I actually got to order a set of plug wires, but I had a spare set of HEI plug wires I threw on here for now just to get this thing running again. And burnt one of our wires to our alternator there, which wasn't bad enough that it doesn't charge no more, so I'm gonna replace that whole wire harness anyway. And then it got the wire harness that goes to the neutral safety / reverse light switch, so did get that, so we'll have to replace that, which ain't really a big deal. And I think that's about it. It did get our fuel pump a little bit, because our fuel pump, it still works, but I think the diaphragm, just from the heat soaked in it, I think it did screw it up a little bit because it's leaking a little bit. So it seems like it lost the seal where they crimp it together. But our brakes, it didn't really get our brakes as far as I can tell, but it actually started melting this cinder fender, because it was pretty hot. So I was able to pull that inner fender off there. That's where it was starting to melt it. And it got it pretty good. Yeah, I can see a little better now. Of course, it's raining and thundering, but just wanted to get this video on up that, you know, everything's fine. You know, it's very minimal. Actually, it was able to control it and stop it in time before it got worse. So as you can see, the truck is moved now, so it does run. I still got to do a little bit more work to it, but I just picked up a fuel pump for it, so I'm going to replace the fuel pump. It's going to need a power steering pump too, and that had nothing really to do with the fire. That's mainly to do with just the seals are starting to go bad in it, and I replaced the cover on it, but I'm gonna end up replacing it anyway. But so we'll replace the power steering pump and the water pump, and I have checked. We definitely don't have, everything seems like it's holding up pretty good, so we definitely don't have water in our oil no more, so that's good. So we'll take and probably change that soon. Bad part about it, I hope that little bit of running don't hurt it. It shouldn't. I mean, the motor's worn out anyway. I'm gonna put a new cam and lifters in it, and you know, I'm gonna try to do everything I can without taking to the machine shop. But I put a new oil filter on it. Our oil filter did burn up. It didn't burn up completely, but it burned up enough where our paint come off. So that's our new one I replaced for the second time. So put a new oil filter on it. I still got to hook our PVC up, or PCV, whatever you call it. we got to hook that up yet. I got to get a tap down here for underneath our carburetor, clean that out, and put a fitting in there so we can hook our PVC up. Or PCV, I mean. We got to get that hooked up, and then we got to get a breather back there on that side, so I got to get a little rubber grommet and get a breather on that side. And then a lot of it's just smoke damage, but it didn't hurt the motor. It didn't hurt it. I was scared that it got so hot that it might have cracked the block or something, but it didn't hurt it. Luckily, really lucky. But it actually runs pretty good for the most part. But I'll go ahead and crank it over. I gotta replace our solenoid. I replaced the one that was on it, and I'll have to replace that one again too, because our starters, I had to actually replace the starter too on it for two reasons. It was worn out for one, and then wasn't sure if all that heat got it or not. But trying to replace everything I can. I'm gonna replace this alternator and then the water pump, of course our power steering pump, and our fuel pumps. Basically everything on the front. Mainly because the alternator I'm replacing because it still works, but I just, you know, for peace of mind, I'm gonna replace that. And the water pump, the only reason I'm really replacing that is just for peace of mind, because we got a new radiator, we got a new thermostat in it. Well, we might as well go on. We done did all this work. We'll put a new water pump on it, because after all, basically pulled the whole top end off and cleaned everything up and put it all back together, and I don't want it to run hot again, so we'll replace that too. But I'm fire it up for y'all real quick, let y'all hear it. Hopefully y'all can hear it. Apologize for this rain and thunder, but I'm trying to get this video up here. Parking brake down there. Make sure we in park. Got a key on. Around here. I'll let y'all hear it. Hope y'all enjoy. Times here. I hope y'all enjoyed it, but it did survive. So I've driven it up down the road several times, and you know, it seems like it didn't hurt it. But got to replace our solenoid here. I got a brand new one in the box. I had to. That's why I got to keep taking that screwdriver there and jumping that thing over like that. So we're gonna replace the solenoid again, and that we'll fix that. That way we ain't got to keep cranking it over like that. I had to replace our battery cables too, and I'm gonna have to cut this power wire that goes from the solenoid down to our starter here, because that's way too long. I gotta trim that up and recrimp that. But started replacing what I could on it, put our HEI wires on it, and trying to go through it. But I pulled a dipstick out there just trying to show y'all that, you know, we don't have no more water in our oil no more, so that's good. I'm gonna flush our coolant system really good, get all that garbage out of it. And it's just got water in it right now because there's no point in putting antifreeze in it yet, because I'm gonna pull our water pump off, and then I'm putting a new water pump on, and then we'll fill it back up with water for the final time, and then we'll make sure that everything's going to run good. And then once we do that, we'll drain all the water out and we'll put antifreeze back in it. But I always do it like that just to make sure, because there's no point in putting antifreeze and wasting money on it if you you know, if you're not quite sure how everything's going to run. So I always verify that everything's going to work out good, which it has so far. So I think it's still got a little bit of blow by, because I noticed once it warms up completely, it's still got just a little bit. It's not horrible, but it's a little bit, so it's hard to tell. I mean, the motor really needs to come out and be overhauled, but you know, it is what it is. This truck's been through hell and back pretty much, so been about run over by it and been on fire with it, and it's been through hell and back, but it's gonna make it. It's been a long journey, but it's coming along. It's coming along. But that's where we're at right there for that. I hope y'all did enjoy the video, but I still got some work to do to it, and we're getting there. And we're getting closer now to getting on my land here, so this was the main reason why I fixed this truck. But just a little side note here, now that y'all know the updates on that, I'm going to give y'all a quick update on my C10 here. Went on to all the local parts places, and I couldn't get a ball joint press. I couldn't rent it, so ended up going to Harbor Freight, and then I bought one, and then come find out it was a complete waste of money because it removed it, but the clamp wasn't wide enough to press it back in. So I ended up having to had to rig it up a little bit to get it to press back in. But ended up, I got our ball joint, so we got a new ball joint finally pressed in. And then I'm gonna come back with the grinder and get this sway bar piece off here, because we don't need that. I'm gonna cut these two bolts here and here, pull that off because we ain't gonna use that again. And then we're pretty much ready to get this thing on back together now. So won't be long. But I had to replace that ball joint because I was gonna replace it anyway. But I mean, it was pretty worn out. Pretty worn out. Hopefully y'all can see that. I'll get the picture. I put new ball joint in it there, and left my impact out. So that's where we're at right there with that. And hopefully won't be too long. We'll get this thing back on the road. If it wasn't raining right now, I'd like to get back on this thing, but hopefully, I'm hoping it'll quit soon. So I want to get this truck back together. I've been starting it every now and then to keep the battery charged and all in it, but oh gosh, this truck's probably been down for, I don't know, at least a month now. Been a while. But before I put everything back together, I'm gonna pull this old shock off real quick while I got a lot more room under there, and I'm gonna throw our replacement control arm back on and start getting this thing bulked back up, because I want to get this thing put back together. So now we're officially ready. Now I don't have to wait on nothing now. The only thing that's holding up now is basically me. So now I just got to get on the stick and get this thing all put back together, and we'll finally be back on the road again. So now we'll have two good trucks hopefully for a little while. We'll be able to get little bit closer to getting moved down here. So that'll be good. Now we got a friend up there. We got a deer. Sorry, it's all blurry, but anyway, that's where we're at now. So I hope y'all enjoy the videos, and you know, like I said, that fire could have been a lot worse, and that was my own dumb fault, because y'all clearly seen the videos there. I was taking that gas, and that was not the brightest idea, but I was trying to flush all that trash out of the motor there, and I got all flushed out and left the drain pan underneath there, because I had about 2 to 3 gallons of gas in that drain pan. And you know, like, I wouldn't do that to a good motor. You know, I did it to that motor because it really don't matter, because I mean, that motor's about shot. It's on its last leg anyway, so it's not gonna hurt it. That's why I bought the gasket kit in it, and you know, just to try to fix it, you know, if you get my hint there. But anyway, long story short, I left that jug underneath there, and, well, not the jug, but that pan, and I had about 2-3 gallons of gas under it, and when I was giving it throttle, it lit it up. And then, of course, my grill, it's a shame, but my grill got screwed up in the process, because I was trying to push it back, because I was in such a hurry I couldn't get it to back up, and all I had to do was move the distributor around just a little bit. That's all I had to do, because it kept cutting off, so the timing was off. That's all it was. But process, I messed this grill up just a little bit, because I had my foot up on there trying to push it back, and because it's such a hurry, because at that point I didn't really care about the truck. I was trying to get the fire, you know, confined away, because I didn't want to catch everything else on fire. But we'll be able to straighten it. I'll probably get a strap and try and pull that out a little bit, because these grills are not exactly easy and cheap to get. But it's savable. We'll straighten that back out. But ain't really did much to the Edsel here lately. But, and I don't know what I'm going to do about my Chevelle. I need to get on the stick and get that thing done. But right now my concentration is trying to move down here, and I'm actually going to live off grid for a little while. So it won't be permanent, but it is going to be for a little while. So we're going to be off grid for a little bit, so we'll have our generator for power. And I know it's just really don't want to do that, but you know, the way things are going, money's very, very tight right now. So, and plus I'm still living at my other place, unfortunately, and you know, I'm just trying to push very hard and get down here. So I'm gonna take it, and gonna be off grid for a little bit. But that's okay, you know, stick it out. But that fire, I'm just really glad that, you know, nobody got hurt or anything, and it didn't get worse what it was. And it worked out, because the truck still runs. Thank goodness. But it was pretty bad. Pretty bad. So you can see the ground's still black. But that was very dumb on my part. I kept taking that gas. You go back to my videos, and I was dumping it down the block, trying to flush all that garbage, that sludge, and you know, from that bloated head gasket, trying to flush all that stuff out, because I figured, you know, gas is a solvent, so I was trying to flush all of it out. And then I was draining it all out into that pan as I was flushing it. And then I come back later on with about a quart or 2 of oil, and dumped in, you know, all around the lifters and the rocker arms and everything. That way it would flush all that gas out and put oil back in it. And my stupid fault, you know, I just left it there like an idiot. And once I got it finished up and fired it up, well, poof, you know, that's what happened, because I gave it throttle a couple times. But that's where it was, and as you can see, it ain't nothing really left of it. That's all that's really left. Some couple chunks right there. But that's what happened, and I was very dumb. And in the process of taking my foot and pushing that truck back so it wouldn't get my Chevelle here or my 89 here, I kind of messed the quarters up a little bit, unfortunately. But this is fixable stuff, though. Ooh, it did bow it right there a little bit. I got my trunk lid because I was trying to push and get that thing, because it's so close. It was right here, and the Chevelle was right here, and you know, I was trying to push that thing back. At least if it, you know, got out of control, it would be further back. But you know, it all worked out. But now I'm gonna have to. I mean, the car needed I was gonna try to put the lower quarters on it anyway, but just the patch panels. But I hate to do that, but it's one of them things, you know, I had to get out of the way because that truck was right here and it's that close to the Chevelle and that truck, and I didn't want to get them two either. I'm not losing all three. I'd rather lose the one than all of them, you know. So now I'm gonna have to get another trunk lid, and I just like to find another original. So it's a shame, it really is. But and it crinkled it up underneath here. I hope it didn't screw the hinges up. But I would love, if I could. I mean, this Chevelle's really on the back burner right now until I get everything situated and transition to moving down here. But I wish I could just take this car and just more or less just use it into a parts car and go find a good 66 or 67 two-door hardtop and just take everything that's on this car that's been new on it, because everything mechanically is done. The brakes are done, the motor's been overhauled, the 4-speed's been gone through, it's got a brand new shifter in it. I mean, everything mechanically is done. The only thing it really needs left, honestly, is put the fuel tank on it and run the fuel line up. But other than that, I mean, everything mechanically is done. The hold up is the body work. But I'm just at the point right now, I just wish I could. I don't want to, I'm not going to sell it or nothing, because I'm going to keep it, but because that's one of my things too. I can't stand that. I'll go sell something and somebody, you know, that's got money fixes it up and basically kind of rubs it in my face, you know, hey, you know, I had it fixed up, you know, and I just don't like it. But I'd like to find a good 66 or 67. I want a 2-door hardtop though, that's got a good body on it and ain't, you know, a basket case like this one, and that the body's never been off the frame. Because that's what the whole issue is with this car. Is the guy that I bought off of, he took the body off the frame and everything is so out of whack it ain't funny. But I wish he would have never did that. But I couldn't figure out if this frame was in a wreck or what in the world was going on. But we got more space between the wheel housing and the frame on that side than this rubbing on this side. So, you know, I've tried everything. I've tried to take the whole back of this car and shove it over. But I mean, it's just so out of whack it ain't funny. So I don't know what's going on with it. I'd like to find a good 2-door hardtop, 66 or 67, one of the two. Because I want a hardtop. And just a regular old Malibu. I don't want, you know, super sport, it's alright too. But I'd rather have just a regular old Malibu, because everybody wants 20, 30 times more money than what it's really worth. But I'd like to get this car straightened out too. But because now, you know, I'm slowly getting this stuff straightened out. I got the one forward straightened out. I'm getting ready to get my C10 straightened out, and then it ain't gonna be long. I'm gonna get this truck straightened out, and then we'll do this car last. But that's what I'm really thinking hard about doing. Just take this car, turn it into a parts car, and just going on and finding a good one, and just taking everything new off this, because it's got, you know, it's got a good motor and everything in it. And it's got everything's been done. I mean, it really doesn't need anything. The only thing really the motor honestly needs is just pull that air cleaner off, and I got the factory one to put back on it. But it won't fit for 2 reasons, because I got a HEI distributor and the offset. I need to have to, if they make an offset air cleaner base, I could use that, but I want to put the factory air cleaner, which I have, back on it. And I'd like to actually take the elder rock off of it and put the 4GC back on it too, which I have. But I'd like to put a set of torque thrust wheels on it too. But it's just, I just don't know what to do right now. I really don't, because it, hopefully, I hope it didn't